Please don't forget to bring an outfit for me for tomorrow.
I know, Piper, I know.
Just thought I should remind you since we forgot the hospital bag on the way here.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. I should have put it in the car. I don't know why I put it in our closet.
I do.
Oh, don't start that again. My mother heard that I didn't want to have it sitting around in the open. Her suggestion wasn't bad.
As long as you don't forget the bag, I will drop it.
You just don't like my mom.
Please, Adam. I just gave birth yesterday. I'm still exhausted. All I was trying to do was to remind you to bring a bag.
Then you started to badmouth my mom.
I'm sorry, I don't get along with her, but I'll stop complaining about her to you.
Thank you. Now, was that so hard?
Thin ice, Adam. You're on thin ice.
You're right. You just gave birth. I will save these arguments for when you're recovered.
It's been 5 years. We shouldn't be arguing about this. You're supposed to put boundaries and stick to them. But all through my pregnancy, your mother came over, criticized me, and generally made life miserable.
This again? I already apologized.
And I'm still a bit salty about it. As long as you keep her out of the house for the next 3 months, I will have time to forget it.
I already told you it was taken care of. Now will you please drop it?
Fine. I'm gonna put the phone down. Just please don't forget the bag.
Stop acting like I'm an idiot. I already know.
I am so excited to finally get to see my grandbaby after you denied me the privilege while you were in the hospital. Hello, Mrs. Hanson. As we've discussed, we aren't having any guests for the first few months. We have a lot to do and simply don't have time to entertain. Nonsense! I'm not a guest, I'm a helper. Please talk to Adam because I just don't have the energy for this. I can do for you what a good mother should do. Not that you would know. After all, your mother ran off with her lover when you were a child. Please, Millie, I'm really not in the mood for this. Someone has to teach you how to be a mother. And in the very likely event that you end up running away from the family, I'll be in place to step into the role as her mother. Adam, get your mother under control, or so help me, I will take my baby elsewhere. And just so you don't try to make any excuses for her, this is what she's been saying.
I told her not to tell you.
You told her not to tell me what?
Look at things logically, Piper. We really need help. I mean, you just gave birth and I don't know anything about kids. We don't have any family close by, and Dad said he can spare Mom for a few months.
Absolutely not. If she takes a step into the house, I will go somewhere else with my daughter.
Why are you being so difficult?
Because we've already discussed this and agreed that it would be just you and I for 3 months. You can't go and unilaterally change that on your own.
What?
You can't go making decisions on your own.
Why didn't you just say that? I swear it's like you have to make me feel stupid. You need to just deal with my decisions, because you clearly have no idea what you're doing.
One of us clearly is, Adam, but it isn't me.
I'm not doing anything wrong. You just insist on being horrible.
Why are you subjecting me to your mother right after giving birth? I need to recover, and I can't do that with her around.
I'm not subjecting you to her. She wants to help.
You know that we don't get along. You agreed on no one in our house for 3 months. Either you live up to your end of the bargain, or I'll talk to Colby.
I will do as you ask. Not because you're right, but to humor you.
I don't care why you do it, but I will not deal with that woman while I'm this vulnerable.
I really wish you two would just get along.
And I wish you would follow through on your promises. We might get along better if you actually put up boundaries and stick to them.
Don't put all of this on me. You and Mom are the ones who fight like cats and dogs.
Are you on the way here?
Yes.
Do you have my bag?
Oh, I knew I was forgetting something.
Is your mother in the car with you?
Yes, she's driving.
That's it. I'm not doing this anymore. Don't bother coming. I've got a backup plan, and you and your mother can do whatever back at the house.
Oh, stop acting like a spoiled brat.
Okay, Mama's boy. You and Millie go do whatever it is you do whenever you're together.
We will be there in an hour. Don't even think about leaving.
An hour? So you aren't actually on the way?
Oh, we are. Just, we have a few stops because Mom didn't bring everything.
Take your time. I won't be here when you get here.
Just stop. We'll be there when we get there. It's not like you have anywhere else to be. Mom's getting set up in the guest room. When she's done, we'll come get you. Piper? Piper!
Where are you? The hospital staff won't tell us anything. So you guys just got to the hospital? 'Cause it's been a lot longer than an hour.
What does the time have to do with anything?
Because we had agreed on leaving at a certain time. You know what? There is no value in wasting my time trying to explain how to be a decent person to you. The concept is too foreign.
Considering you were raised by a single father, you're the one who doesn't understand how to be decent.
Oh, look at you coming back with the quick quips.
I have no idea what my son ever saw in you. It took this long, but he's finally regaining his senses. Now we need to know where you are. Tell me now, or I'll force the staff to tell us.
You're so delusional if you think they will tell you anything.
And why is that?
That's because it's private information. If they tell you anything, I can sue them.
We are family, so they should tell us. We should be an exception to any ridiculous laws.
When your son didn't show up when he was supposed to, there was reason to be concerned that something was wrong. Considering you guys literally left me at the hospital hours after I was supposed to be discharged, the staff have a dim view of you.
Adam is your husband. He doesn't have to listen to you, and he doesn't need to be at your beck and call.
He has made that blatantly clear. And because I really don't want to deal with either of you two, I'm not at the hospital.
Oh, well, as long as you didn't take my baby, I don't care where you are.
Oh, you're still able to have kids? Seems highly unlikely.
Oh, you know what I mean, you wretched woman. I'll be taking me and my son's baby home.
When I recover enough, I will talk to Adam. I have no interest in talking to you.
Well, you don't have a choice because that's my baby.
Keep talking, Millie. Every text you send is another text in my arsenal.
Are you threatening me? Are you threatening me? You will be very sorry if you try to keep me from my child.
Don't worry, Millie. I don't want anything to do with your son. He is all yours.
I'm glad to hear you're leaving my son alone. He always had such a soft heart. I'm glad he finally realized what you are. Now all we have to do is get you out of our lives. Then we'll raise our child together.
Your relationship was always really creepy. And it's really starting to sound unhealthy. Well, criminal, if I'm being honest. But hey, not gonna be my problem soon enough.
You mean you won't be our problem soon enough? Bring my baby back. Then you can slink back off to the gutters where you belong.
Sorry, Millie. No, actually, I'm not sorry. You guys will be hearing from my lawyer. I'll do what is required by law when it comes to custody, but there is no chance I'm coming back to live in that house.
I warned him that you were a no-good scamming woman. You got the baby you wanted and now you're running. Don't think that you'll get anything in the divorce. I'll make sure that my husband gets the best lawyer to deal with you. Then I will protect my son and child from you.
So your solution is to separate a newborn baby from her mother?
It's not like my baby will lose anything by having you removed from her life.
Ah, because you can't stand me. You think that no one will like me. You have a very high opinion of yourself.
Of course my opinion matters. I come from old money. That means I understand how the world works much better than you.
From what I've seen, it means you know how to buy your way into getting your way.
And that is how the world works. Believe me, anyone who is important owes my family for their position. No judge is gonna take your side over mine.
Then why does your husband need to get a really good lawyer?
You stupid girl. He needs to get a good lawyer to make it look like we won honestly. We can't have a judge thinking that your pathetic lawyer made a better argument. Things have to look believable.
And why is that?
How are you this idiotic? Because some judges won't follow through if they think that we haven't played the game right.
It's an interesting theory. Thank you for enlightening me. I wish you, well, the kind of life you deserve.
I always get what I want, so don't you worry. And you will get the life you deserve.
I really hope so. I also feel I should point out that you don't come from old money, your husband does.
We've been married nearly 40 years, so it's almost the same thing.
Funny, since I've heard about the kinds of fights you used to have with your in-laws.
That's because they were stuck-up, horrible people. I'm bringing the kind of class and common sense that they lacked into higher society.
Do you feel that way about your husband? Wouldn't he be hurt to hear you talk like that about his parents?
Well, he was always a mama's boy who followed what his mother said. She always told me that I was only a result of his rebellious phase. I showed her, though. He still adores me, and I had her buried without her jewelry. I may give one or two of the pieces to my little Jade, but I'll make sure that most of them go with me.
Oh, so you took your mother-in-law's jewelry for yourself? Was that just your way of proving that you won?
I wouldn't expect you to understand it all, so there's no reason to explain it to you.
Fair enough. I wish you luck, Millie, and thank you for being as self-important as you are. That should prove particularly helpful.
You're a special type of crazy. I'm so glad my son realized it so early. Now we have a baby we can raise together. Oh, but I need a copy of your medical history, too. I guess I'll need to get that before we leave here. Once I have that, I just need to know where my baby is so we can take her home.
I can see where Adam gets a lot of his more interesting ways of thinking. Now I have to get going because I've got a lot of important things to do.
You must tell me where you are so I can come get my little Jade. I'm not about to let her spend any more time with someone so low class. Divorce, Piper? Seriously? You have initiated the process?
Oh yeah, a couple of months ago when you made it clear that your mother was your only real concern?
This again! You keep making me choose between you two. Why are you surprised that I chose the woman who took care of me? She'll be a much better mother than you because she's a better person.
Did you read the divorce papers?
Why should I bother? I tore it up because you don't deserve my time. I'll have my parents' lawyer draw up the terms, and you'll have to agree to them.
Oh, sweetie, you really should have read them. But don't worry, I did have a copy delivered to your lawyer. You can talk to him about what the terms are. And you are free to fight them if you like, but I think you'll find even your daddy's lawyers recommend you not fight.
I refuse to agree with whatever BS terms you offer. Anything other than completely removing you from the baby's life is unacceptable.
Oh, you see, now that is the wrong answer, but it's good to hear you say that. You didn't tell your mother that my daughter isn't yours, did you?
What? Of course not. She would hate the fact that we used a donor.
Yeah, she would. It's almost like she would lose all interest in the baby when she realizes that it's not biologically hers.
I'm sure once she's attached to my daughter, the fact that little Jade isn't biologically hers won't matter anymore.
You don't think it will?
I know my mother. She's a loving, caring person.
And that's why she wouldn't want an infant who isn't related to her.
I mean, it makes sense, but once that attachment is there, I'm sure she'll love my little girl like her own.
Hold on to that thought, honey, because we'll be finding out when you guys hear about the terms of the divorce.
You will not tell my mother that I'm infertile.
You're right, I won't tell her.
I don't trust you.
That's fine. I learned months ago not to trust you. When I started bleeding and you decided to go to your mother's for help instead of taking me to the doctor, well, that's when I knew that you simply weren't going to be any kind of help if I needed it.
My mother is much better at handling those things than I am.
She's much better at making you feel good. She sure didn't do anything to help me. And she sure isn't a medical professional. All I can say is thank goodness for Cody, because my daughter and myself got the actual help we needed.
I'll bet you've been sleeping with him this whole time, haven't you?
Even if I wanted to sleep with him, he wouldn't be interested. Remember, he's gay. That's why you don't like him.
You know that I couldn't stand him, yet you refused to stop being friends with him.
Well, since he's the only person I could rely on around here, of course I didn't cut him out of my life.
You never respected what I wanted, and you always hated my mother. Just wait until I put all of this evidence in front of a judge. You'll never see my little Jade again.
Since you weren't there for me in the hospital, I didn't use the name you and your mother picked up, and she doesn't have your last name. And your name isn't on the birth certificate.
What?
And since you didn't pay for anything, you'll find that there aren't many judges who will take your side.
I was there for you when you were pregnant.
You didn't attend any of the appointments. When I was on bed rest, I had to hire someone because you couldn't be bothered. Anyway, my daughter's crying, so I need to go tend to her. Please stick to talking through my lawyer. Nothing good will come out of trying to bully me over text.
You're such a coward.
What's this about the baby not being my Adam's baby? Are you trying to convince us to give up on our own flesh and blood? I take it you don't believe the DNA test.
I saw that. But you're an idiot to think we would believe that. Unless... Are you admitting to cheating on my perfect boy?
You should probably check the receipt from the bank I went to. I would have sent the report about your son being infertile, but unlike you guys, I'm not going to give out his medical information. Just be aware that he's been lying to you. Kind of like how you've been lying to him. Oh my, but so much is going to come out in the divorce.
I don't believe you. My son would never lie to me. And if he did, it was clearly your fault.
Oh, it's so cute that you think I have that kind of control over him. I never wanted to control him. Just to love him and have a family.
He's learned that's a lie. You never really cared for him if you could steal his child from us. And if that isn't his child, then you've been cheating, and you made him think that it was his fault.
You may want to focus on some of the other important parts of the papers. I included a little something special for your husband.
That weak-minded fool? What could you possibly tell him?
Just the part about you stealing his mother's jewelry.
Oh no, you couldn't have done that. He can't know that. I earned those pieces by putting up with her for years.
Then what do you owe me for putting up with you for years? You know what? Don't worry about it. Never having to deal with you or your family again is enough payment for me. Things really went wrong for Adam and Millie after that. Once Millie's husband learned that she had stolen from him, as well as learning that his son was sterile, he decided to get a DNA test. Sure enough, Adam wasn't actually his son. Apparently, Millie had cheated on him with several men, proving her mother-in-law had been very right not to trust her. Adam was disowned and disinherited. I learned that the man had several illegitimate children that he had raised in secret from his wife. When he started the divorce proceedings, though, this made the whole thing a lot more difficult for him. Since they were both cheaters, things got really messy. Millie got arrested for theft of property, and I think something about stealing from the dead. I didn't keep up with it too closely. Her soon-to-be ex-husband pressed charges, but since the divorce was in progress, she still had access to some of his money. I know that they did end up divorced, and she was living a much less lucrative life than when she was married. Adam actually did try to reach out to me to apologize and attempted to reconcile, but I was not interested. Apparently, he was really angry about his mother's lies, and he blamed her for his poor choice in our marriage. It was clear that he saw her as the problem and not himself, so I wasn't willing to consider getting back together with him. My ex-husband is entirely out of my life, so I didn't really pay any attention to what happened to him after the far too exciting divorce. He was disowned and wouldn't be getting money from his father, but he still had a good job that paid. This worked out well for me since we had married for about 6 years and alimony was high. He did downgrade his house because he couldn't afford the large house. Cody and I moved several states away and he helped me with my daughter. Even when he started dating seriously, he was an absolute rock in our world. He's asked me to be his best man in the upcoming wedding, and my daughter is going to be the flower girl. She's 5 now and is very excited with the frilly dress they picked out for her. I've dated a bit here and there, but my focus is on raising my daughter and building my career. After so many years of feeling like I was never particularly important, I'm working on myself so that I can find a good man. Clearly, I missed a lot of red flags. Now I know what to look for, but I'm not in much of a rush, as my life feels very full and happy for now.